Guys, welcome to another video. You've got Mr. Everything English, and today we will be doing something super important.
Everything education. Tuition for maths, English and science.
I did this last year with 4 quotes for 4 paragraphs. And if you go back and you look at the comment section of those videos, guys, it really helped those year 11s. So this year, I've had a whole year to reflect. This year, guys, I've tweaked the quotes and I'm presenting you with 6. We're gonna go over 6 quotes. I'm gonna give you the quote, I'm gonna give you the technique, I'm gonna give you the analysis, and I'm gonna talk you through how you make this quote fit lots of different questions. Now, I'm gonna give you 6 different paragraphs. On the day of your exam, remember guys, you only need to make 2 of the 6 fit. Because on the day of your exam, you are aiming for 4 paragraphs. 2 paragraphs are going to be coming from the extract that they give you on the day. The other 2 will be coming from these 6. Now guys, we need these 6 to be absolutely solid. Absolutely solid. It is unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. I sound like Mr. Burling. But guys, honestly, we will not be coming out of the exam on Monday and none of you guys are going to message me saying, "Sir, I just couldn't think of any quotes. Sir, I just couldn't think of any ideas. Sir, I only did 1 paragraph." Guys, that is not happening. Not on my watch. By hook or by crook, on that exam on Monday, all of us, every single one of us is coming out of that exam with 4 paragraphs done. Now, in an ideal world, you want to do 2 paragraphs from the extract, 2 paragraphs from the whole text. But listen to me very carefully. If you open the extract and what they give you on the day is something that completely throws you off, I'm talking to the point where you can't understand it at all, then give me or try to give me 1 from the extract and 3 from the 6 that I'm gonna give you. And worst case scenario, I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, Mr. Everything English said do this." I'm saying worst case scenario. If you can't engage with the extract at all, you can't even give me a paragraph, then you know what guys, worst case scenario, out of the 6 that I'm gonna give you, you write up 4 of them. It is better to do that than to leave your booklet empty. What I am trying to tell you guys is this: no matter what happens on Monday, we are coming out of that exam doing 4 full paragraphs. In an ideal world, we are aiming for 2 paragraphs extract, 2 paragraphs from the whole text. But if it comes down to it, you have to change accordingly. But guys, remember one thing, this is our GCSE exam. Everything comes down to this. So no matter what happens guys, Monday we are doing 4 paragraphs. And now guys, I will help you so much because I am now going to go through the 6 quotes that I believe can fit 99.9999% of questions. Alright guys, let's switch over to the board and let's begin. Should you ever require tuition, lessons, classes for English, maths or science, do head over to everythingeducation.co.uk. All of our English classes are taught by myself, Mr. Everything English, and our science and maths classes are taught by fully qualified teachers. Upon joining, you get access to our student portal. This is where you hand in your homework, receive your feedback, and you can chat to your teachers, including myself. So guys, should you require any support with your English, maths or science for any exam board, do head over to everythingeducation.co.uk or click the link in the... These are my 6 go-to quotes from A Christmas Carol. And I believe I can make these 6 quotes fit almost any question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now remember guys, on the day of your exam, you only need to make 2 of these fit because the other 2 quotes we're going to be getting from the extract. So you might say to me, "Sir, you know what? I like that quote, but I hate that quote." That's fine, don't use it. Use the other 5. But I truly believe these 6 quotes are really good to learn because you can make them fit lots of different questions. And I have to say this, guys, because I know there will be somebody out there who will ask me the following: Sir, is it plagiarism if I use your analysis? Of course it's not, because this is just me giving you ideas. I am teaching you. Take my ideas, turn them into paragraphs, and go smash your GCSEs, and then thank me in August. All right, guys, paragraph number 1, the quote I use, my favorite go-to quote, is the quote, solitary as an oyster. And unless you are in year 5, you will know that this is a simile, because it is comparing Scrooge to an oyster. Now, this quote is a lovely quote, because the word solitary is what we use for people who are in prison. That is the kind of word we use. They are in solitary confinement. Now, Scrooge, is he in prison? No. Well, he is kind of. But what prison? Scrooge is lonely. Scrooge is isolated. Scrooge is by himself. He is solitary. But solitary gives the idea what? That Scrooge is imprisoned by force. Scrooge is lonely by force. What is forcing him to be lonely? What is forcing him to be isolated? Read the quote. It's the oyster. It's the oyster that is making him stuck. It's the oyster that is making Scrooge be isolated and by himself. So, what is this oyster a symbol of? The oyster, I want you guys to argue now. Let's get that grade 9, guys. We're not in the business of getting a grade 1. We want that 9. The oyster is a symbol of capitalism. And that's your context link. Now, what is capitalism? Capitalism is the belief that the most important thing in your life is money, 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 and yourself. And Scrooge has bought into that belief so much that the guy believes he doesn't need a girlfriend, he doesn't need a wife, he doesn't need friends, he doesn't need family. He truly believes that as long as he's got money, he's good. He is a victim of capitalism, and the shell represents this belief. It's a symbol of this belief. Now, who comes to destroy the shell? Who comes to destroy this belief? Who comes to make him understand that family is important, love is important, relationships are important, religion is important? Who comes to do this? The ghosts, the spirits, Marley. They crack the shell, they crack the shell, they crack the shell, until right at the end, as everyone loves to say, the beautiful pearl that is Scrooge emerges. His softer side, his nicer side comes out. Guys, I've just given you a grade 9 analysis within like 2 minutes. Please analyze that quote like that. Don't be saying solitary as an oyster shows us that Scrooge is really, really lonely and that he has a nice side, but he is stuck inside the oyster. This shows that we feel really, really sorry for him, and hopefully one day he'll change. We're not about that, guys. We're not about that. Solitary, he is forced to be lonely. Why is he forced? Because of the oyster. The oyster is a symbol of capitalism. Capitalism is an ideology. It's a belief that money is the most important thing. So the spirits and Marley come and they crack the oyster to reveal his softer side. But you want to say that this represents society. Why? Because if a sad old man like Scrooge can change, then we all have hope. If Scrooge can change, anyone can change. That is how I need you all to use that first quote. Now guys, quote number 2. I love this part of the text. I love this part and I love this part of the text, because they're in the same part, but such amazing quotes. Guys, paragraph number 2. Poor, poor, poor Belle, right? Another idol has displaced me. Off the bat, I have a problem with this quote. Another idol. Now, idols are things that you worship, right? Idols are things that you worship. So some people worship God. Some people worship, I don't know, Ronaldo and Messi. Some people worship cars and houses, but you get my drift. Everyone worships something. Now, Belle, his lovely girlfriend, says, another idol. Does anyone see the problem? Does anyone see the problem? Another idol. Not an idol, another idol. Which means that there's already an idol that he was worshipping that he's now replaced with another idol. Who's the idol, or what's the idol that he was worshipping before this? What was the first idol? It was her. It was her. Another idol implies he's replaced her. She wants to be his only idol. Talk about being toxic. She wants to be the only thing he worships. Guys, that's a dangerous woman. That's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous woman. But that's just a side point for you guys to be aware of, because it shows you how she wants their relationship to be. But she says another idol has displaced me. Now, idols, when people go and visit idols, what do? They offer sacrifices, right? They offer sacrifices. Now, what did Scrooge sacrifice for this new idol? Where this quote is in the in the book, about 10 lines down, Belle says to him, I've seen your nobler aspirations. What's the quote? I've seen your nobler aspirations. Is it disappear one by one? I'm pretty sure that's the quote. What does that mean? What did Scrooge sacrifice for this new idol? And what's the new idol? If you read the next few lines, it says it's called gains. Capital Gains. So what did Scrooge sacrifice for the idol of gains? He sacrificed his nobler aspirations. Every good thing about himself. He almost sold his soul to the devil. He gave up all his good side for this new idol, for the idol of gain. What is gain? Gain is when you take more and more and more and more, and you consume and you consume and you consume. To be rich, he gave up everything. He sold his soul to the devil. Sounds a bit like P. Diddy, but it's not P. Diddy. But you get the analogy, guys. You want to be rich? You want to be powerful? Then you do whatever your masters want you to do. But guys, don't put that in your exam. But I'm just trying to make you understand that in this quote, we understand a few things. Number one, we understand that Scrooge had to sacrifice himself, his good side, to become rich, to become powerful. Scrooge, in doing that, had to sacrifice his love. Because the question always arises, right? Why couldn't he have both? Why couldn't he keep Belle and also chase money? It's because the money, the idol gains, it demanded all of him. His full focus, his full attention. And he couldn't have her there at that time. So guys, the verb displace is a very powerful verb. It shows how this change took place suddenly. It was a quick change. Now, this is a very good quote, guys. You can link it to society because it shows us that in a society that is filled with poverty, for anyone that wants to break out of this poverty, you almost have to sacrifice every good part of you. Secondly, it can be linked to Scrooge because it kind of shows us, guys, that Scrooge is helpless. Now, yes, people say, sir, but his dad was rich because his dad sent him to a boarding school. Yes, you have a point, but listen and understand the text. Did him and his dad get on? No. So in chasing wealth, who was Scrooge trying to escape from? The clutches of his father. He didn't want to be with his pups. They didn't get on. So his dad had money, but that money meant nothing for Scrooge. That is why the kid was obsessed with being rich. But that we're going to talk about more later. Alright guys, quote number 3. I wear the chains I forged in life. This quote is from Marley, guys, and Marley is coming to warn his friends. I wear the chains I forged in life. The chains are a symbol of his sins. link by link by link by link, he is carrying his sins as a punishment. Now, what were the sins of Marley? Was he a murderer? No. Was he a fraudster? No. But he was a capitalist, selfish man who only cared about himself. That was his sin. And that is why it's foreshadowing, because it's foreshadowing that if Scrooge does not change, he will be in worse of a situation than Marley is. And that's why, guys, this quote can be linked to the supernatural and the Gothic genre. Because from the very beginning, what is one of the catalysts of change is fear. The Gothic genre, ghosts and demons and spirits, are used as a catalyst to make Scrooge poo his pants. And this makes him change. Scrooge doesn't change at the end. He begins to change very early because fear is what drives him. That's why, guys, I think in the last stave, when the ghost of Christmas Future comes, it talks about how that ghost was kind towards Scrooge. It was being nice towards Scrooge. Why? Because by that point, he's changed. The ghost doesn't need to be harsh and nasty. It shows him bad things, but the way itself treats him is nice, because Scrooge begins to change very early. Because fear is a catalyst that is put into the text through the Gothic genre of the supernatural. Now, guys, this quote can be used for religion, because it shows the punishment that the capitalist men are going to face. This quote can be used for fear, because fear can be linked to change, and change can be linked to redemption. This quote can be used to show the character of Scrooge and how powerless he is. All these points are there and valid in this quote. Alright, guys, this quote over here, guys, this is a nice quote to use because it has the weather and we can use it in the Gothic genre. The quote says, "There was a smooth white sheet of snow upon the roof and the dirtier snow upon the ground." Now, guys, I want you guys to use this quote as the contrast, as the juxtaposition. The smooth white sheet of snow, untouched, pure, perfect. That snow represents the rich, the upper class in society. The smooth white sheet of snow sits on top of the roof and it looks down. And when it looks down, what does it see? It sees the dirty snow on the ground. The dirty snow is a symbol of the poor, is the symbol of the lower class. Scrooge sits and looks down upon Bob Cratchit. So this quote is a lovely quote to talk about capitalism, talk about class, talk about Scrooge as a representative of the upper class, talk about the injustice in society. But it really, guys, shows you that class divide that exists and how it's told through the pathetic fallacy. How the setting mirrors the society. That's a good quote, guys, to keep in your back pocket just in case you get a question about setting. Quote number 4, guys. This quote makes me feel sorry for Scrooge. This quote, guys, makes me feel sorry for Scrooge. It shows you that the guy was stuck. It really does. Guys, I don't know you guys. You guys don't know me. But you know, when you grow up and life isn't easy, you get a desire to make it, because you don't want to go back to where you came from. You don't want to live that life again. You want a better life for yourself. You want a better life for your parents. There's a fire lit under your backside that only you know exists. And if any one of you guys can relate, then you can relate. But guys, I'll give you a famous saying: boxing. In boxing, they say that the best boxers are the ones that come from poorer backgrounds, because they have a fire lit under them because they want to make it out of poverty so bad. Their life has been so tough. And that analogy, guys, is over here. Why is Scrooge so quick to abandon Belle? Why is Scrooge so quick to chase wealth? It isn't because he's flossing. When we meet Scrooge as an elderly man, he's not got Lamborghinis parked up and living in a mansion. The guy lives like a poor person. He's got candles with little fires lit. He's not flossing his wealth. So then what was he chasing it for? What was Scrooge chasing money for? Guys, this quote is a lovely quote to talk about the alternative about how we feel sorry for him. Because the way Scrooge feels, maybe we all feel that same way. The quote says, guys, that the Scrooge says to Belle that there is nothing on which this life, there is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty. You can't blame me. He's saying to her, you can't blame me for choosing money. Because there is nothing on which this life is so hard as poverty. He has suffered it. He says it here. His dad's rich. He's not rich. And poverty here, I would argue, is a symbol of not just wealth. He's been poor in many ways. Lack of family, lack of love, lack of money. He says there's nothing on which it is so hard, which implies that his life has been so hard that that's why he's willing to sacrifice everything to achieve money. And this quote, guys, is a lovely quote to show the softer side of Scrooge. This is why he does what he does. So for him, chasing money may not have been for material gain, but maybe it was for freedom. Maybe it was for security. This word here, the adjective hard, is a very, very good word here to look at the emotional side of Scrooge. He shows us very clearly that life hasn't been easy for him. So guys, this quote is a good quote to use about the impact of family. You could have family and not have family. What does that mean? Scrooge had a dad, but didn't really have a dad, did he? He was there by nature. And it's the juxtaposition between what he had and the Cratchit family. Just because you have a family doesn't mean you have a family. Then it's a good quote because it reveals another layer to the character of Scrooge. Yes, Scrooge is nasty. Yes, Scrooge is evil. But Scrooge was forced to become that way. He had no choice. He had no choice but to break out of the poverty that he was previously in. And to break out of that poverty, he had to abandon his nobler aspirations. He had to. He had no choice. Because he either stays in poverty or in a capitalist society, he breaks out of poverty by becoming cold, by becoming nasty, by becoming selfish. But it's a lovely quote, guys, to use. Alright, guys, the last quote is a good quote to juxtapose the family on both sides over here. The Cratchit family, guys, they were not well dressed, didn't have the best amount of money, didn't have the nicest house, but they were happy, they were grateful, and they were pleased with one another. Now, this juxtaposes capitalism because it goes against what capitalism defines as happiness. Capitalism defines materialism as being a source for happiness. You need nice houses, you need cars, you need things to be happy. But in this quote, the Cratchit family literally put that in the bin and show us that they haven't got much, but they're content. If you can zoom in, guys, zoom into the rule of three. Happy, grateful, and pleased with one another. Now, guys, this quote, it shows you the importance of relationships, because at the end, it talks about how they were pleased with one another. As long as you have a good relationship, you're going to be good. And this quote can be used as a challenge to this quote, because Scrooge says that there is nothing on which this life is so hard as poverty. But this quote shows us that so long as you have one another, even if you're poor, you're going to be okay. So you can use these quotes as a juxtaposition of one another. But because Scrooge had no love and no affection, he never had that one another. So he had no choice but to earn wealth and chase the American dream. I say American dream because we're not in America, but you get my drift. Now guys, these 6 quotes are 6 very good quotes to use for a Christmas carol. Now a Christmas carol, guys, has many other quotes you can use. But these 6, for me, can be used for lots and lots of different questions. And as I always say, I've given you 6. On the day of your exam, you just need to make 2 of them fit. Now, my go-to quote is the first one, solitary as an oyster. I believe I can make that quote fit pretty much 99% of GCSE questions. So this is my go-to favorite quote. Second place, guys, I'll be honest with you, it's like a tie. This one, this one, this one are all for me second place. I love all 3 of these quotes because, again, if I sat down, I can make them fit different questions. Supernatural, Scrooge, redemption, change, family, they can all fit. Let's just do a few random ones. Let's just do, guys, a few random ones. I wear the chains I forge in life. How do I link that to family? That's a consequence of abandoning the family values. That one's done. Supernatural. Supernatural, guys. I wear the chains I forged in life. Solitary as an oyster. How the supernatural are the ones that are able to change. Another idol has displaced me. The supernatural shows Scrooge moments of regret in his life. How about redemption, guys? Redemption is an easy one. It's everywhere. Solitary as an oyster. There is hope for everyone to change. If the oyster of Scrooge can be cracked, then everyone's oyster can be cracked. Everyone can break free from the shackles of capitalism. Another idol has displaced me. If we're going to link it to redemption and the idea of change, you want to say that Scrooge has changed multiple times. He goes from being nice and loving and caring to becoming a slave of money to then changing and coming back. So change isn't linear, change isn't one-dimensional, but rather change has many layers. Any other questions? Family, guys, the idea of family. If I was picking my quotes about family, I would use this quote to talk about how family is important. Then I would use this quote to show about how when you don't have a family, then you have no choice but to chase wealth. Because how else do you find happiness and importance? But yeah, guys, you get my drift. You get my drift. This quote is a good quote for setting and class and divide in society. Even Scrooge, about how Scrooge treats Cratchit. Bob Cratchit is similar to the smooth white sheet of snow looking down upon the dirtiest snow on the ground. But guys, look, you get my drift, right? You can use these quotes to fit lots of different questions. Use them as you see fit. Go to everythingeducation.co.uk, click on past papers, choose June 2017, plan 2 paragraphs from the extract, and then plan 2 paragraphs using the quotes on the board behind me. But guys, do try your best to use these quotes between now and your exam. Practice using them, see which ones work for you, see which ones don't. So when you open your paper Monday morning and you get your extract, hopefully 2 of these come to your mind and you can use them on the day. Alright guys, it's been Mr. Everything English. Peace.